Hi friends, we are going to do this graphic organizer to get ready to do some writing on pilgrims. So find this in your packet. All right, so I have already given you the topic. It's pilgrims. So write your name. And then let's think back to all of the books and videos we've watched about pilgrims. And we're going to write one thing, or maybe we'll have to use 2 lines for one depending on what we decide to write. And then we'll choose which one we want to use for our writing. Okay, so we're going to say pilgrims went. And where did they go? What was special about where they went? They went to America, right? They came here. Let's put a period here in case you choose to use that one. Pilgrims went. What was the thing that they used to get here? The Mayflower went on the, and see, I don't think I have enough room for Mayflower, so I'm going to put that on the second line. All right, so now that I have those 2 written, I really only have 2. I have this one and I have this one. So you decide which one you want to pick for your writing and you give it a circle. I think I'm going to pick this one. If you need to pause the video, you can do that anytime. Okay, pilgrims had. What were some things that they had? What did they come on? The ship, right? Had a ship. This is something that's kind of sad about it. They had a hard winter. Remember? A lot of them died that first winter. Hard winter. I think I need to write A. I forgot that. A hard winter. And did they bring anything with them? They brought a lot of things with them called supplies. Pilgrims had supplies. So they had things like blankets and food and medicine and clothes. Anything that they didn't know if they could get once they got here. All right, pause the video if you need to finish writing. Now, I already circled something about the boat for this one, so I'm not going to circle the ship this time, but you can. If you chose America, you could choose the ship. I think I'm going to say supplies. Okay, we're on the last part. Pilgrims were. Pilgrims were English. That means they came from England. I think that's important. They were farmers. Remember how they had to grow food? So they were farmers. And something else I think I want to use to describe them is brave. Don't you think they would have to be brave to go on the ocean all the way across the Atlantic to find a place to live, and they didn't even know what it was going to be like when they got there? I think that sounds kind of scary. All right, so now pick which one of these that you want to use in your writing. I'm going to choose brave. Okay, so now we're going to use this graphic organizer to do some writing. So the writing looks like this. So find this in your packet. All right, so you're the author. So you're going to write your name up here because you're the author. If you need to pause and finish up this one, do that now before we start writing on here. Okay, so the Pilgrims came to America is our topic sentence. I wrote that already for you. So a topic sentence tells what the whole thing is going to be about. So right here, we're going to say the Pilgrims came to America. All right. Pilgrims went on the Mayflower. All right, so let's use that one. The Pilgrims went is my verb that I'm going to use on the Mayflower. Now, what if you had chosen this one? Let's read what that would sound like. The Pilgrims came to America. The Pilgrims went to America. Ooh, that'd be kind of boring. So I'm glad I decided to choose this one. Okay, so now we're on had. The Pilgrims had, and I chose supplies. The Pilgrims, I keep doing that, had supplies. Okay, now we're ready for were. The Pilgrims were, and you can choose either of these two. I chose brave. The Pilgrims were brave. All right, so a conclusion is kind of like the topic sentence, but instead of telling the reader what we're going to write about, it's telling us that we're finishing up. So it can be something similar to this, or it could be something totally different. These are all facts, so these are all true things. We could use a opinion for a conclusion that tells like how we feel about these people. What do you think you want to write for your conclusion? Sometimes I like to read the whole thing and then the conclusion comes to me. So I think let's do that. The Pilgrims. The Pilgrims came to America. The Pilgrims went on the Mayflower. The Pilgrims had supplies. The Pilgrims were brave. How about I liked learning about the Pilgrims? Because I did. All right, there we go. If you need to pause the video to finish up, do that now. I'll make this a little bigger so you can see it. All right, friends, so you did this writing, and now I want to make sure that you have a grown-up to check it over. So some of the things that we're going to be looking for are capital letters, spaces between the words, making sure that the words are spelled correctly, and then punctuation or periods at the end. Okay, so pause the video and have a grown-up check over your writing and see if they can tell you if you need to do any fixing when we go to write it on our final draft. All right, so now that you've had it checked, you're going to write it on your final draft. Okay, so you can use your name because you're the author. And we are going to copy this onto this. And if your grown-up had to fix any errors, then you need to make sure you do them correctly on this. So we're going to start with the title, The Pilgrims. Okay, did you make sure you have a finger space there? Good. Then we're going to do the topic sentence. The Pilgrims came to America. So everybody's first sentence is the same. Anytime you need to pause the video and catch up, you can do that. Okay, so now we're ready for our facts. My fact might be different than your fact because remember we each wrote what we wanted to. So I'm going to write my fact, but if you have something different on yours, you need to write your fact. Pause the video so you can finish writing fact 1. Okay, now we're ready to move on to fact 2. You can see I'm out of room. You may have more room, but I am out. So I have to flip my paper over and write on the other side now. So I'm going to start fact 2. Now you may have written the same thing I have, or you might have written something different. So make sure you read yours and see what yours says, and make sure you correct any errors that your grown-up checked. Pause the video while you write that sentence for fact 2. All right, now that we're done with fact 2, we're going to move on to fact 3. Now remember, yours might be different than mine. I still have room here, so I'm going to start here. I don't think I have enough room for pilgrims, though, so I'm going to go down to the next one. Okay, pause the video so that you can finish fact 3. All right, now we're going to do our conclusion. The conclusion is the ending. You may have written the same thing I did, or maybe you chose to write something else. If your grown-up found any errors, you need to make sure you fix those. I have room here, so I'm going to start right here. Pause the video so that you can finish writing. All right, now that I'm done, I want to read you my story. The Pilgrims by Mrs. Bates. The Pilgrims came to America. The Pilgrims went on the Mayflower. The Pilgrims had supplies. The Pilgrims were brave. I liked learning about the Pilgrims. Now I can illustrate. I can draw a picture. I think I might draw the Mayflower. So if you want to draw the Mayflower, you can watch me draw the Mayflower. All right, so the Mayflower was like a big ship. So I'm going to draw it like this. And then it had windows in it. So I'm going to put the windows in it. Okay. And then I'm going to put the masts like this. And let's see, how do I want to draw those? I think like this. Okay. So that is the Mayflower. I'll be anxious to see your writing when you bring it back.